We're ranking every commander from March of the Machine Aftermath.
I'm your host, Joe Cherries.
I'm your host, BZ, and that makes us the Nitpicking Nerds, which means you can support us by buying the greatest sleeves in the multiverse.
I believe it's the best sleeves in the multiverse, but still, good sleeves.
Yeah, Dragon Shield. You can go to the EU or the US links, support the channel at the same time as buying awesome sleeves. Seems like a no-brainer.
You can also go to CoolStuffInc.com, and if you go to CoolStuffInc.com, guess what you get? 5% off by using code
Nerds.
Because you've used code
Nerds.
Then you will be supporting us while getting 5% off. And what more could you ask for? Buy magic cards, buy sleeves. You can buy Dragon Shields over there. 2-for-1 special for supporting the nerds.
And happy birthday to everyone whose birthdays today. And
also, I do have to say one thing. Patrons are on screen. Here you are. We love you all as much as you can without making hopeful. Thank you for supporting us. And
there's a little special message for you procrastinators out there, because you might remember about 30 days ago we said there's a really cool Kickstarter going down with Johannes Voss and all of their awesome playmats, and you haven't done it yet. And you're thinking to yourself, whoa, I forgot about that. Well, you have basically a day and a half to go to the link in the description and buy some of these awesome playmats. We're talking Angelic Destiny. We're talking Prismatic Bridge. We're talking Doggo Plains.
Doggo Plains. I mean, you really can't beat Doggo Plains because honestly, first thing, if you don't own Doggo Plains, use Cool Stuff Inc. to buy Doggo Plains, get 5% off, and then go to the link in the description to buy Doggo Plains playmat. And you can even, if you want to go big, all right, you're looking at this and you're like, I don't know which one of these amazing playmats I want to get. They have a pick 10 option. So just buy 10 of these playmats, get them all shipped to your house, and then when you're sitting there and your friends are like, oh man, do you have another Johannes Voss mat? Because this one just isn't doing it for me. You can be like, yes, I actually have 9 more.
If you host a draft of 8 people and they all forgot their playmats, you're like, just wait. I got all the best wares. And there's also Banana Satyr.
But
you can get a Banana Satyr playmat, which is actually a Galia playmat, but it's really the Banana Satyr playmat.
Banana Satyr and classic. The faces on that are very good. Like the one in the background go, oh, I'm very happy, and the guy in the headlock's like, what's going on?
Yeah, that's a pretty good artwork.
So, it is very good.
Get over to Kickstarter, purchase some awesome stuff for yourself, and tell them we sent you by using the link.
Yes, all you have to do is use the link, and then you'll be there doing a thing. All right. This is ranking every commander. We have already ranked every single commander ever printed up to this point, up to March of the Machines Aftermath. But March of the Machines Aftermath has just dropped, and with it, 21 new commanders. So we got a lot of work to do. We rank it based on 5 things. BZ, tell them the 5 things.
They're equally graded between power, fun, artwork, coolness, and uniqueness. All of the factors that contribute to being an awesome commander in general. This is not only a power list. You can just look at the first one for that and know what we think about it for power. I guess we could just go right into it. We're going from worst to best, and we're going to let you know where they rank on our master list. So we're going to get started with our stinkiest commander of the set. It's Rocco Street Chef, above Glunch and below Dustin at 1096.
That's right, above Glunch from D&D and Dustin from Stranger Things.
Red, green, white for a 2/4. At the beginning of your end step, each player exiles a top card of their library. Until your next end step, each player may play the card they exiled this way. Whenever a player plays a land from exile or casts a spell from exile, you put a +1/+1 counter on target creature and create a food token. You know us by now. We're not a big fan of this group huggy type thing. I don't think a counter and a food is that much benefit, but he has a 2. He doesn't have a 0 for power.
Yeah, I think the main thing here is that it is giving you a card, and there are Staxy type cards that will prevent our opponents from playing the cards you put in exile, such as Drance Magistrate. So that does give it some power. Also, every single thing being played from exile, which people are going to want to play because it's card advantage, will give you a permanent, which is a decent amount. That said, it's still a 2 because of the group hug nature.
Yeah, we don't like Gloop Hug decks.
Gloop Hug.
And he has a 2 for lore because Rocco doesn't really do anything. I know they I think they're non-binary, but
they're non-binary.
Their only lore is like they got kicked out on the street, I guess, because the Phyrexians destroyed wherever they were making food from.
Yeah, now they're just a street chef and they're out making food. The thing that they did do well, it's going to be a fun deck, 10 for fun. Everyone's drawing cards. Everyone's having fun. People love to play against Group Hug. Not me personally, but I respect other people's opinions that they enjoy playing against Group Hug often.
Let's move up 1. It's Jirina, Dauntless General, above Renari, Merchant of Marvels, and below Mishra, Artificer Prodigy, ranked 1041 overall. Black-white for a 2/2. When she enters the battlefield, exile target player's graveyard, and you can sacrifice her to make humans you control gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. It's just the most simple little selfless spirit, like, for humans, and it exiles graveyards, which is nice. This is just more of a 99 card. Unfortunately for her, we're only grading these cards as commanders.
Yes, and because of that, she gets a 2 for power. Exile and graveyard's not nothing. It's decent. Selfless Spirit, not nothing. But ultimately, she's just not doing enough to carry her role as a commander, which is sad. It's sad to hear. And it's also in black-white. White is the main human color. Black doesn't give us much. So that's there. This is going to be a fine deck. Humans is a fine tribe, but there's also not anything super exciting here. Uniqueness, it really suffers in uniqueness because Jarina ultimately is just another tribal commander. We've seen a million of these, and she doesn't bring anything new to the human tribe.
Yeah, the one thing I could see with this commander is that you get to stack your deck with a bunch of board wipes that they destroy, and then make them all one-sided. So we could revisit this and give her more power if that becomes like a super big thing for her. For now, I think 2's fine. I don't think there's any more lore than last time we talked about her. So
yeah,
she's defending Dranith. She led everybody to safety.
She's
against
just in charge
the
now, right?
Luca monster, yeah.
Yeah, she's now in charge. Her father has passed since Ikoria.
He got murdered, I think.
Or died since Ikoria, whatever. He is dead, and now she has taken over as the general. Also, are really, really good. She's like one of the... There's a couple other ones, but she's one of the few cards that isn't a monster that got that comic book treatment.
Let's go to Tazri, Stalwart Survivor, above Ayara, first of Locthwain, and below Gearson Starn at 754. Each creature you control has tap, add 1 mana of any of this creature's colors. Spend this mana only to activate an ability of a creature. Activate only if this creature has another activated ability. And you can pay Wooburg and tap it to mill 5 and put all creatures with activated abilities that aren't mana abilities from among the milled cards into your hand. Why is this card so wordy? Was it worth it? The answer is no.
This card is so weird. I don't really get what we're trying to do here. We want creatures with activated abilities that are non-mana abilities so that we can give it a mana ability to tap to make mana for abilities.
But then we're not using the other ability unless it's a non-tap ability.
This card is a headache.
What's going on?
It's very confusing.
It doesn't even look that good.
Yeah, ultimately, I don't know what you're supposed to do with this. Maybe there is something hidden here. It is possible this could be another, like, Shalai and Halar, where there's, like, secret combos. But
no, that's going to be our new thing, is that whatever commander we rank the lowest is just, like, busted.
I mean, and this thing could be busted. We don't know it. I haven't seen it. I looked into it, and it just looks kind of boring. I don't think there's much to do with this. This thing does ask something very specific of you. And
it's unique.
In that way, it is extremely unique. But it's not good.
It doesn't seem that powerful. We'll revisit Tazri later. It does not looking too good. Let's go to Nahiri, Forged in Fury at 741. She's above Tor, Waki, and below Carter. 4 red white for a 5/4 with affinity for equipment. Whenever an equipped creature you control attacks, exile the top card of your library. You can play it this turn, but if it's an equipment, you can cast it for free. It's another equipment commander. It is going to be cheap to cast for the most part, although how many equipment can you really stack into your equipment deck? Maybe with the for Mirrodin cards and the living weapon, there's more you can put in.
No, yeah. Also, one of the biggest issues with this card is just going to be, like you said, reducing its costs enough. Attacking, if you put 20, 25 equipment so that you can reliably make her cheap and play her, your deck is really diluted. It isn't going to be able to do that much. And that's the sad thing about Nahiri, is that equipment just isn't strong enough to really allow you to play 25 plus, which is what you want to do to make her strong. That feels
with
rough.
all the Vermirion, you might be able to, but you'd probably be playing some bad cards. But also, there's like Bloodforged Battle Axe has to be amazing in this deck.
Yeah, that's completely fair. I mean, there's going to be good cards, and there is good things to do with this. Ultimately, overall, it's weak. Equipment is a pretty weak archetype overall. So
it's a cool take.
So yeah, having to go all in on it is pretty tough. I think it'll be fun. I mean, I think equipment decks are mostly fun to play.
This is a cool take on it. I like the reduction and the casting for free. It gives you something to do. It draws cards. With equipment decks, need cards all they can get.
Yeah, Nahiri's got really nice art. She is in the... As with all of these legends, you're going to see that they all have the unique border treatment that we got from that plane. In this case, it is the Zendikar weird one. She's no longer a Planeswalker. She lost her Planeswalker Spark, and she is out to kill Planeswalkers. She seems to really hate Planeswalkers now. That's her thing.
Yeah, if you're not following along with the lore, most of the Planeswalkers, as a result of the Phyrexian War, lost their sparks, and only a select few have them still. And there's omen paths kind of open between planes, so characters can just cross them and still travel between planes. And here he's really not feeling Planeswalkers anymore, probably just because she's salty that she destroyed her spark or she lost it.
She had
I think she dropped it or something.
No, she was mad before that. She's
salty.
She was mad at Planeswalkers, and she was getting in Johnny's face, and Johnny's get out of here. And basically swatted her into a pit.
Nahiri is the worst villain. I hate Nahiri. She's never done anything at all.
Yeah, and she had her spark in a little Hedron, and she lost it.
She should have just died as a Phyrexian. What does she have left to do? Now that Amber's here, we can go to Danitha, New Benalia's Light. She's ranked 700 above Okagachi and below Svella. 1 green-white for a 2/2 with Vigilance, Trample, and Lifelink, and once during each of your turns, you can cast an aura or equipment spell from your graveyard. Super simple, it's the Carador for auras and equipments. It does let you do both, though, or either one.
And she's really cheap. She only costs 3 mana, get out on the battlefield, and get going right away. This card is decently strong, but ultimately the weakness is that we're going to be a Voltrini deck, and Voltrini decks do have the distinct weakness of, spot removal, board wipes, kind of giving them a lot of trouble. I like that she kind of mitigates that a little bit by getting the stuff back from the graveyard that is already gone.
That alternate art is pretty great. They all got cool treatments based on whatever plane they're on. I really like hers.
Stained glass art, yeah.
Yeah, stained glass art is OP.
Yeah, this one's got a little symbolism on him. She's standing in front of the stained glass window of her father, and, the light's literally shining on her, and, it's obviously, an analogy for everything.
Stuff. Yeah, her dad died. He was a Phyrexian. Let's go to Joriel, voice of Zalfir. Her dad, I don't know if he's dead or not. Probably. 595 above Teysa, Orzhov, Scion, below Mael the Anima. 2 green blue for a 3/3 at the beginning of combat on your turn. Up to 1 target land you control becomes an XX green and blue bird with flying and haste, and where X is the number of cards in your hand. Still a land. Whenever a land creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So it does a weird thing, and then it draws you cards when you do the weird thing.
Yeah, we're going to make our flying creatures based on our hand size, but then we draw cards when we hit with those lands. Oh, what a weird card. I think overall it's a decently powerful card that can do a lot of things. I like that she's hitting on a lot of different fronts here. I like that she cares about your lands. She wants to use and make your lands creatures. Then she draws off of that while caring about your hand size. It's got a lot going on here, and I think it's just going to be fun to try and make sure all those moving pieces are working correctly.
Yeah, now that Zalfir is basically its own plane, she's kind of back in charge.
It's not basically. It just is its own plane.
Magically its own plane.
Yeah, I mean, it switched places with Phyrexia,
but it was a part of a plane, but now it's just its own plane, I guess.
And it's also it kept the Mirrodin Suns. Why? That's
it
weird
looks
to me.
Cool.
They literally were kept because it looks cool. 10 for our Biobox promo is the one that is our favorite personally. Just looks amazing. I really, really like just the design of this art.
Next for the characters, at least lore-wise, that I don't think anybody has ever cared about. It's Plarg and Nasari, above Vorel and below Marnius Calgar, ranked 543. 3 red for a 5/4 at the beginning of your upkeep. Each player exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile a non-land card. An opponent chooses a non-land card exiled this way. You may cast up to 2 spells from among the other cards exiled this way without paying their mana costs. Despite the lame characters, it's actually pretty cool, and it's actually pretty strong, and it says there's going to be 4 cards to choose from. Somebody picks the best one, so you don't get that one, and you pick 2 of the remaining 3. The other one just stays away.
Yeah, it's a really weird card. It also allows for a little bit of politics, because when it comes back around to your turn, you pick an opponent to make the choice. So if there is a board wipe and everybody else wants a board wipe, you can just, I will not pick this player.
Yeah, pick a friend.
And pick the friend who will let me have the board wipe. This card is going to get a ton of card advantage really quick. It reminds me of just the old Atali, right? Where it's like...
It reminds me of new Atali, because it goes until you hit.
Combination, right? Because you can get this once a turn, and it's on upkeep, so you have to wait all turn, just like Atali, when you have to wait until the next turn to attack. But ultimately, it'll automatically hit things. You're going to get the best 2 out of 3 that are left for you to pick.
Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and call, complete Nonbo in the Wizards lore / cards, because Nasari was, specifically turned into this throbbing heart monster that Rutha was, super sad about. And she's just here? And none of the, unimportant characters that turned Phyrexian survive. They're all just, dead. They crumple to the ground and they're useless. So this just is, an oversight.
And the best over website in the world is Moxfield.com. That's right, Moxfield.com is the best deck building website on the entire internet. If you're looking to build your deck, get it on the internet so that you can look at it and see all the stats. What's your average mana value with lands, without lands? What's my curve look like exactly? Well, Moxfield's going to have all that data. Plug in your deck to this website, and it'll give you so much data, you won't even know what to do with it. You'll be like, how do I even process all this amazing data that's being given to me? And then you learn.
Yeah, and you can write a primer on your own deck in a separate page that's connected to it. There's comments on the deck so you can talk to people about it. You can pick whatever pricing option is best for you. You can update to the cheapest version of all cards if you're trying to build a budget deck, which is just super OP. And you can go follow us because we are the most followed account, and we're looking to hit 10,000 followers for no particular reason, but it sounds cool.
No, there is a reason. The reason is we want to be the first to 5 figures. So let's
get first 5-figure account.
Get the Nitpicking Nerds to 5-figure followers. And while you're there, check out all of our awesome decks. I want to get more view all of our decks. Look at every single one of our decks so that we get more views, and we will become the most viewed account also.
We can
on
do
Moxfield.
that. While we're waiting for you to do that, we'll go to Arnie Meadowbrow. Above Muzio and below Abdel Adrian, he's ranked 528. 2 in a red for a 3/3. Whenever a creature you control attacks or a creature enters the battlefield under your control attack, you may pay 1 in a red. If you do, you may put a creature card with mana value less than the creature's mana value from your hand onto the battlefield tapped and attack. I don't know if there's much to say about the power. Maybe we could just go to why this card's super cool.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, yeah, there isn't really much to say about the power. This card's weird. It kind of works really well with sneak attack specifically.
Yeah.
Other than that,
but also, like, you're just sneak attacking. How just pay an extra red.
it's a sneak attack. It's a different. Well, this one keeps it on the battlefield.
Yeah, but it's just like you're cheating out Eldrazi or something.
Yeah, exactly. So ultimately, Arnie doesn't have that much for power. I think it's super fun. You're going to cheat out big giant things and then attack with those big giant things to put in other big giant things. And the whole key to this deck is big giant things. All right, so when we look at this art, you can see we've already know Arnie Meadowbrow is a storyteller. That is what this character is doing. He's telling stories about the horn that was in his original art. You know, like,
stuck in his head. He
headbutted a troll
and won.
It's stuck in his head. It's just there forever. Now, somehow, another horn from a Phyrexian has ended up above that one, and they're both in his head. Now, they didn't take out the other one. He just has two horns in his head, so now he's still just braggadocious.
It's so stupid.
He's just out there bragging about, like, look what I did. Like, I like to think that he just stuck them there.
It's dumb. Like, this is dumb, but in a good way.
It's funny dumb.
Yeah.
It's really funny. I like to think that, like, after the battle, like, he cowers in the corner, then he goes out there and, like, picks up the horn. He's like, look, guys,
that's pretty grim.
I'm tough.
That, like, really hurts.
I mean, he wants
lodged in there,
but he wants to look tough.
He has brain damage.
Well, definitely.
Probably.
Those things are pretty deep.
They're not leaving, right? Like, if you shake your head and it doesn't fall out.
This is one of like 2 or 3 like sneak attack commanders though. So
we're gonna keep going on to Sigarda, Font of Blessings, ranked 517 above Drana and Linvala and below Emoti. 2 green-white for a 4/4 flyer. Other permanents you control have hexproof. You may look at the top card of your library anytime, and you may cast angel or human spells from the top of your library. They're really stressing me to the breaking point of caring about this. Like, you can cast X type of card from the top of your library. Like, it's okay. It's pretty good. It's card draw in those decks. It's just boring me to tears.
Yeah, this is fairly powerful. I do like also giving the rest of your permanents hexproof. Going to be super nice. He's going to protect everything else. You'll have to be the brunt for taking spot removal. So if you have another problematic permanent, well, they're not going to be able to remove that. They got to get rid of Sigarda first. Like you said, card advantage. It's a decently powerful card. Humans, angels, they're both fun tribe.
Hoping this is the last card that does this, where they're just like, I don't know what to give this ability. You can cast it from the top of your library. Please stop.
This art's absolutely amazing. She's basically blessing the whole plane. It's awesome. She, on top of her alt art being absolutely amazing, she's also just becoming cooler and cooler as a character. She's basically becoming the new Avacyn of the plane. She is basically a god to the people there. She's an angel. She's protecting the people. That's what she does, and this card is very flavorful in that way.
All right, jumping up only 4 ranks to Karn, Legacy Reforged. He's 513 above Taborax and below Yusri. 5 mana for a legendary artifact creature, Golem. He's a star, which is equal to the greatest mana value among artifacts you control. At the beginning of your upkeep, add Wingding for each artifact you control. This mana can't be spent to cast non-artifact spells. Until end of turn, you don't lose the mana as steps and phases end. So we know this. It's the Power Stone mana of like the weird double negative that doesn't cancel out. You're mostly spending it on artifacts, but you can also do other stuff with it.
Activate abilities. That's the main key other thing that you can do with this card. It's okay. It does give you a decent amount of mana. His power toughness is decent. He's always going to be at least a 5/5, like minimum. He's at least going to make 1 mana every single turn because he's going to be out. But your whole deck is going to be based around this card. Colorless suffers power-wise. I will say that because you don't get like 90% of cards in Magic.
Yeah, realistically though, this is going to like untap and just make like 6 mana. You can't really cheat out Eldrazi with it. Maybe you cheat out enough mana rocks that let you cheat out an Eldrazi anyway. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and you can also filter this into other things. Like, so if you play cards that filter mana in some way, I don't know which cards, I can't even think of anything.
There's like Gemstone Array, but oh man, I think that card is so bad.
I mean, it's probably actually playable in this deck.
It's Prismite, basically.
Yeah, fair enough. This card I don't think this card is that fun because I think ultimately the colorless decks like this just end up being very samey.
Yeah, it's like, the top end threats, and they're really brutal. This might not be that enjoyable.
And without fast mana, these decks suffer a lot because ultimately your ramp is just not that good.
Right, and I don't really have to explain Karn's lore. There's just too much of it. He's one of the most important Magic characters ever. Currently has no spark, though.
But he has a new body. He was just ahead, and now he is reforged with a new body.
He should have quit while he was ahead. But we're not quitting. We're going on to Samut, Vizier of Noctamoon, rank 442, above Belbay and below Alfari. 1 green-red for a 2/3. First strike, vigilance, haste. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, if that creature entered the battlefield this turn, draw a card. Hey, it's niche, weird thing that you have to build your deck around, but when you do, you draw a card. We've seen that 5 4 times already. I think this is the 4th version of like you do a cool thing, draw some cards.
Okay, so yeah, so movie is pretty cool. Overall, this card's pretty cool. It asks you to like play hasty creatures. It loves dash, which weirdly enough, that's an ability that not many things care about. It also it gives you a home for those red and green ninjutsu cards. There's not a lot of them.
There's probably 3.
There's probably like 2 or 3 total, but now we have a home for them because
there might not even be a red one.
Yeah, is there a red one? There is a green. There is the green like Kappa thing.
There's like 2 green ones.
There's
a rare and there's a Death Touch one.
There's the one that returns permanents from your graveyard to your hand, and then there's the remove a counter from it to destroy an artifact or enchantment one.
Both playable.
Yeah, they're both playable, and like Samut kind of pays them off. This is super cool. No, another card that Samut absolutely loves?
No.
Gingerbrute. Loves Gingerbrute.
Just like every other deck.
This card is so silly. Samut's calling for you to play a lot of weird cards, and I think that's going to make this deck really fun. The power where it lacks here, ultimately overall, is how do you keep having creatures enter every single turn to draw cards? That's a tough feat.
Yeah, you can't really flicker. I mean, hasty type things, you could probably make something happen, but this card just seems really cool. I have no complaints. Nymph Mizzet Supreme is next, and he's ranked 386. We're getting up there, above Zur the Enchanter and below Liara Porter. He's Wooburg for a 5/5 flyer with hexproof from monocolored, and your 2-colored instant and sorcery spells in your graveyard have Jumpstart, so you can cast them from your graveyard by discarding a card in addition to paying their normal cost. Jumpstart we have not seen in a hot minute.
This is a really strange card because not only does it like have this weird synergy with your multicolor, it also it has synergy with Madness. It has synergy with like all these other random like discarding things. Put them in your graveyard, using things again in your graveyard. I'm not sure how you build this card. It's really weird.
Yeah, and then actually what's holding it back on this list a little bit is the hexproof from monocolored. I mean, I guess that makes the power harder because it's going to actually be tough to kill. A lot of the best spot removal is one color, but it certainly makes playing against it slightly less fun.
Yeah, Hexproof, Shroud, these abilities do make commanders tend to be less fun to play against when you can't remove them reliably.
I don't really like these cityscape arts that much, so it kind of just has like middle of the road. And Niv Mizzet's just been all over the map. He's the guild pack now. He like fought back against the invasion, and now he's just kind of hanging out. I guess he didn't die during the war.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested in like how powerful actually is Niv Mizzet now, because Niv Mizzet was reborn, but like he got kind of crushed in the battle.
He didn't really do much, yeah.
Well, yeah, but he was because he had just been reborn, like so he was extremely weak because he was just reborn, and like if he's extremely powerful now, he's a ruler supreme. I think he is basically the guild pack now.
Yeah, I think he is.
He's just doing everything on Ravnica. He's super powerful. We didn't get to actually see his power at any point yet.
It's time for another former Planeswalker. This is Nissa, Resurgent Animist at 375 above Vohar, below Slimefoot the Stowaway. 2 and a green for a 3/3 landfall. Add 1 mana of any color, then if it's the second time this ability is resolved, you reveal until you hit an elf or an elemental, put it into your hand and the rest on the bottom in a random order. Super simple. This is like Lotus Cobra, but also if you want to build an elemental deck, it's payoff, or an elf deck, it's payoff. I like that it just does both. That's very Nissa.
Yeah, I think this thing is just very strong. Lotus Cobra is a very strong card. We're going to pay an extra mana for it, but like you said, the second time when we play our fetch lands, when we get our second land drop from Explorer, whatever way you're going to do it in this deck, you're going to draw a card, and not just a card. You're going to draw action. You're going to hit an elf or an elemental, which you're going to build your deck so that your deck is built to get good ones. You can also build this in such a way that you play like 4 or 5 very good elves and elementals instead of going tribal, which could be like 30 elementals or 30 elves. You can just go the other direction, put like 5 in, and now when you resolve the second ability, you always draw something very, very powerful.
Yeah, I think that's like the actual scary thing to do with it, is just like say I have 10 really, really brutal hits and I'm just a green value landfall deck.
Yeah, I think ultimately what keeps us from being like the most fun is it's just another elf ball deck. I personally do not find elf ball fun to play against. I kind of find it to be like one of the archetypes when I play against it. It kind of feels samey, but again, that's just my opinion.
I love elf ball. I will defend elves all day. This is Nissa though. We've seen Nissa. She's one of the main characters of Magic. Period. Kind of surprised she lost her spark. Kind of surprised she didn't freaking die. They just cured her kind of magically. I mean magically in more of a plot armor sense. They literally use magic. But she's really sad right now because she can't get back to Zendikar. So she like hopped off with Chandra to try to find a way back.
They're basically going to find their way back. They're
right.
all.
There's no direct way, but I'm sure they'll find something.
They're dating. They're actually dating now, which is actually makes her character much more interesting because
she has something to do.
She has something to do. I mean, there's a good plot point. It's also what's really interesting about Nissa not being a planeswalker anymore. She can't travel willy nilly from plane to plane like her partner Chandra. So it makes for this nice storyline that has conflict between this couple, which is going to be interesting going forward.
Yes, that's actually something I'm interested in seeing. Let's go to Kiora, Sovereign of the Deep. She's ranked 361 above Asmodeus and below Progenitus. 3 green blue for a 4/5 with Vigilance and Ward 3. Whenever you cast a Kraken, Leviathan, Octopus, or Serpent from your hand, look at the top X cards of your library where X is the spell's mana value, and you can cast something that costs X or less for free, put the rest on the bottom in a random order. That's what they all say. They all put them in a random order. This is maybe the best Kraken-type payoff we've seen.
It's really, really strong. Ultimately, the Krakens and Leviathans and Octopuses aren't there yet. This card just gets more and more powerful. The more powerful that, like, archetype of large sea monsters becomes, because this effect is strong. And the fact that she has Ward 3, okay, I love Ward 3. Ward 3, Ward 2, those are like the perfect wards where it's like, it's annoying. It actually has an effect in the game, but it doesn't prevent you from actually interacting with the card.
Yeah, Octavia has Ward 8, which is just hexproof.
Yes, that is just hexproof. Like, Octavia I find unfun because you can't remove it. Kiora, it's like, I have to spend extra mana. It does cost me a lot more, but I can get rid of this silly thing.
Yeah, it like de-incentivizes you. It doesn't say that you just can't do it. So this one's power was tough because the ability's really good. It casts whatever you want, but the spells you cast generally are bad. I mean, there's Hellbreaker Horrors and stuff that are really good, but that's the exception, not really the rule with these cards.
Exactly, yeah. There are good ones. You can just play the good ones, but then you're not paying off Kiora as much as you can. There's an interesting balance to how to make this deck actually the best thing. I like that she casts any spell, not just from among the creatures. Her art is also very, very good. She's got the Zendikar art, looking good Kiora. Where is Kiora? What is Kiora doing? She stole the Bident from Thassa. Cool thing to do. She's on Zendikar. That's where she's from. But what is her plot? What am I supposed to care about Kiora? We really haven't gotten that. Give me more Kiora. I like Kiora.
She seems cool, but she's had one plot point in the last 15 years, or I guess you could just say for her entire history. She stole a Bident, and it never even did anything. She just has it.
And on Arena, her only characteristic is making
fish puns.
Fish puns. That's all she does.
Yeah, I don't know why, but that's just her move.
It's fine. It's like I like that gives her a little character. It's like, oh, she likes making stupid dad jokes. Like, that's a completely fine thing. But it's like, that's all she does. I don't know anything else about this besides that she likes making dad jokes.
Right, and I don't think that was true until Arena came around. So if you want to watch her say, don't get all clammy, you can put any Kiora in your deck, especially the Jumpstart one.
This is getting fishy.
Oh boy.
It's like it's all over jokes.
It's time for someone who's been called the greatest himbo in all of Magic. Tyvar the Bellicose. 347 is his rank above Edgar, Charmed Groom, and below Greven. 2 green black for a 5/4. Whenever one or more elves you control attack, they gain Death Touch until end of turn, and each creature you control has, whenever a mana ability of this creature resolves, put a number of +1/+1 counters on it, equal to the number of mana this creature produced. This ability triggers only once each turn. So it wants you to tap your mana dorks to then power them up a little bit to eventually attack with Death Touch. Just kind of a weird card.
Yeah, I'm kind of a fan of this card. I like what it's doing. You use your elves like you're going to use them. They get more powerful over time, and then without having to play like an extra effect like a Create a Hoof or an Overrun, they're eventually just ready to go and they're attack and they can attack and get in. The fact that they have Death Touch means you're not going to get, like, even if they're still tiny elves, they're going to be troublesome for your opponents to block.
I think it'll be really scary with like Quest for the Gemstones and Seaborn Muse, where you just start doing this like every single turn and then they're just huge. Or, Trample also really good with Death Touch. Just kind of, to me, there's not a ton here. It works really good with untapping stuff because you can go make 5 mana, untap them, attack you. So it's cool. There's definitely stuff going on.
I don't know what Tyvar is talking about in his flavor text. He's talking about becoming gods. Is Tyvar going to become a new god? That would be cool to have like Tyvar become like. That'd be a cool little arc for him, where he becomes a god on the plane. We know that the gods were all basically mortals at one point that drank the sap or whatever from the tree. But the tree's gone, so who knows?
I thought they were regrowing it. I don't know.
They definitely are, because that is cosmic regrowth.
Yeah, and also kind of a demotion, right? I'd rather be a planeswalker.
Cosmic regrowth is a good card.
That card does seem good. So Tyvar is doing a lot of stuff. He participated in the Kaldheim battle, and he killed like Phyrexian Ice Coma. And that was kind of off screen. I don't know how you leave that out. That's like, I wanted to see Phyrexian Coma.
There's just too many like
if you're listing Phyrexian creatures that got completed, what do you want to see above Coma?
Yeah, I guess the tough part about it was that they I feel like the Magic Store is spread a little thin, where it's across we're across 500 planes. It's tough to cover. If the coolest thing was completed on every plane, they can't show us every single one of them, right?
Yeah, but Coma might have been the coolest. Bummer. People were even confused if he ever got completed, but he's just like in an artwork.
Yeah, he's completed. Also, so is Toski.
Sarulf like, 0-1.
It's a 0. It's a 0-1. And that 0-1 is killing Sarulf.
Yes. Sarulf only had 1 toughness. Calyx, Guided by Fate, is up next. He's above Yadora and below Uro. He's ranked 270, so we're climbing up the ranks. He's an enchantment creature. He's 1 green, white for a 2/2 constellation. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, and whenever he or an enchanted creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you can create a token that's a copy of a non-legendary enchantment you control, but only once each turn. Calyx, for once in his life, is actually pretty awesome.
Yeah, I really like his effect. It's super cool. It's decently powerful, so we can get in, hit, make copies of our ores, put them on other things, maybe put them on the same thing if we wanted to, just be on the same thing. This card is really cool, really unique in a lot of ways. I really love just like, it is Enchantress, it is green, white Enchantress, we have that. But it takes it in a different direction rather than just like, oh, play 1, draw a card. It's like that's like classic Enchantress. No, we're doing something a little different. We're making new ones.
Yes. I guess you can... I want to get more than 1 trigger a turn, so what do you have to do? You have to give a creature double strike, hit with first strike, and then flicker Calyx, and then you get 2 copies of your like Mirari's Wake or something. That's the move. Get your Spirit Mantles and your Unquestioned Authorities ready too.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, that is one way to go with it. This is one of my favorite arts. There's kind of hit or miss on the constellations for me. Where, like, some of them look really amazing, some of them are just okay. This is just amazing. I think this is like 10 out of 10. Like, if this is how you're supposed to do the constellation, it looks so good.
Yeah, Calyx, in terms of flavor, he's just a hater. He was made by Klothys to hate. He just wanted to bring Elspeth back to the underworld, and after he does that, he will cease to exist. So he was, I guess, a little upset about that, but he's like, nope, that's all I do is fight Elspeth and lose. He did it like 5 times, and now he's trying to look for her, except she's basically a god, so I hope he doesn't find her because he'll just get bodied. And now he's like, there was hinting that he's maybe looking into like Nico somehow. Nico defied destiny, and Klothys might be mad at Nico because I think Nico is from Theros. Who knows? We'll see later.
So, yeah, I mean,
that's a story thread for like 5 years from now.
Yeah, that feels so far removed from anything. Like, I don't know.
Probably actually, I would bet they never even touch on it.
They will. They will because ultimately, even if they don't touch on it in like 5 years with the new Calyx, they will tell you what happened between him and Nico.
They'll just write it down.
They'll just write it down, yeah.
We also have Tamio's son. It's Nashi, Moon's Legacy, above Guillaume, ranked 199, and below Asmoran, Mardukades, and a Kaldakar. This is Sultai for a 3/4 rat. He's got Medicine Ward 1, and when he attacks, you exile up to 1 target legendary or rat card from your graveyard and copy it, and you can cast the copy, but you still got to pay its costs, and most likely it's a permanent, so it'll enter as a token. Really weird. Sultai Rats doesn't like give you anything. There, I think, is literally 1 blue rat in all of Magic. So maybe you get some changelings, but mostly you just play legendary deck, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can go either way with this. It's your choice, or you can do both. It does pay you off.
You can play the 1 blue rat.
I think one of the weirdest things about this card and the weakest thing about it is ultimately it is a 3/4 with menace. It is not big. It doesn't fly. Its evasion is not very good. So those things need to get blocked pretty easily a lot of the time. Making sure this thing has evasion will make it a lot stronger, but I think that's its weakness. I think its ability is very strong within itself. You just have to be able to actually make sure this thing isn't dying in combat. I think it'll be fun, though, for sure.
Yeah, it's like a step down from something like Muldrotha. It's just kind of like a generic value machine. It gives you some direction, so I like that. And Nashi's awesome. Nashi's like young, very young, like kid who had to watch his mom die, and those artworks with Tamio like lovingly looking on, but kind of as like a data ghost. Pretty sweet.
A data ghost, yeah. She's the ghost of all data.
Yeah. Well, we're moving into our top commanders of the set, and I think the 4th highest is Pia, Consul of Revival, ranked 191 overall, above Jetmir, below Elish, Norn, Grand Cenobite. Red-white for a 2/3. I didn't know she was a 2/3. Thopters you control have haste, and whenever you play a land from exile or cast a spell from exile, you get a 1/1 Thopter. I think this card's like super cool. It's actually pretty good, and it's like Faldorn, but it removed the text that was actually not very relevant on Faldorn.
Yeah, this being 1 cheaper and not having a way to do it itself actually, I think, is better for this card. Ultimately, I've played a lot of Faldorn. Like, that is one of my favorite decks. I play it all the time. You just don't do her second ability. You do it like maybe once or twice a game on average. Okay, I'd rather just take Pia, remove 1 mana off, and get flyers.
They're also artifacts.
And they're artifacts, so there is an upgrade in that way. This card is super strong. And giving them haste. That is not irrelevant. That is super strong. This might be even this is on the same power level, if not better than Faldorn, and I think Faldorn is very good. This is gonna be super fun.
Yeah, this is gonna be a sweet commander. I'm excited to play with this in the budget realm, but normally we talk about stapling the enabler to the payoff is just great, but this one doesn't really need it because the enabler is just drawing cards. So you're already playing every red card that says exile blah, cast it until the end of blah. So it's just going to be an endless carnival of card draw.
Yeah, this card is strong. It is, I think, a very unassuming, but it is strong. I like her main art. She looks kind of good, but I'm not a big fan of I like Kaldis Invention border. I think it's very cool, but I think making legends into it kind of doesn't work.
Weird. It's statues.
It's hey, they remain a statue because they're legends. And it doesn't work that well for me personally.
How many statues get built of living people? Not that many, right?
No, I assume they're future statues that will be built of them.
It's oh, here's Baral, the known criminal who broke out of prison
and murdered Chandra's father.
Yeah, here's the statue for Baral.
Yeah, imagine how would you feel as Chandra, this human who has wronged you in so many ways, but did one good thing, has a statue. I'd feel pretty walking on the street, be I hate that guy. Why does he have a statue? I'd probably melt it if I was Chandra.
Gary Zev's monkey got a statue.
At least Regavan's cool. At least
I guarantee he hasn't done anything substantial though. A person who has done something substantial is Narset in Enlightened Exile. She's ranked 145 above Yorick and below Zakama. 1 blue, red, white for a 3/4. Creatures you control have prowess. Whenever she attacks, exile target non-creature non-land card with mana value less than her power from a graveyard and copy it, and you can cast it for free.
This card is absurdly strong. That first line of text, your creatures have prowess, that might be enough to get this up to a 6 or 7 power by itself. That is ridiculous. You're going to overrun the game very, very fast. All she asks you is to go wide. All right, now let's cast spells and win the game. We already know Balmor is strong. What if we added another color and it was prowess, so we were pumping toughness as well?
And pumping from things like enchantments and artifacts.
Yes, and then on top of that, she has another line of text where, based on her power, she can cast things from the graveyard for free.
Graveyard.
Are you kidding me? This card is absurdly strong.
Super cool.
I think where she loses fun is there's going to be some of the best versions of this deck will play a lot of extra turn spells. I think that's you're just going to go attack combat, or maybe you don't even need extra turn spells. Extra combats are absurd in this deck.
Yeah, they're probably. I mean, the worst decks of this to play against look just like the Narset Enlightened Master decks.
Yeah, and they're not going to be super fun, but this card is powerful.
It's just good.
Art 10 out of 10. Art 10 out of 10. These are really hit or miss for the alternate arts.
Yeah.
But her regular art is very, very good. I like they're kind of pencil drawing arts when they're done well. But not all of them are done well or very good. This one is okay, but I just like her original art.
I'm in the camp of I just don't like them very much, and I wish they had some color to them. Narset's lore, we don't know what's going on. She's been just kind of farting around since Ikoria, just kind of doing something. She was in the War of the Spark, but didn't really have any speaking roles. And now she's back on Tarkir, but she got exiled from her clan, I think because she knows the truth, which is that, I don't know, history got changed by Sarkhan, or dragons used to be dead. I have no idea.
They're just one of the biggest troubles going. One of the biggest troubles just feels in these stories, we've mentioned with other characters like Kiora, is we're just not exploring these characters enough, and it leaves you feeling and wanting more. It's Narset was an interesting character in the beginning, her original story, her switch between Khans and dragons.
Yeah, she died.
She died. She basically is, and she has an interesting arc in the beginning, and that's mostly where she gets her coolness points from. I just want to actually explore these characters. I wish we would actually take more time and actually get to know each of these characters, instead of just, hey, here's a Narset card, but why'd she get a card? Because we wanted her to, and that doesn't feel right to me. It's I want Narset. It's hey, Narset is doing this. Let's actually give her a nice story and actually explore Narset instead of this little bit of I feel we didn't get anything.
I think the Aftermath stories, there were only 2, and it was about Nissa and Nahiri, 2 people we had very recently checked in on. So it felt I wanted to learn about all these loose ends, not all these loose ends, but all these story threads that you're teasing.
Yeah, there's a lot of story threads that we're teasing. At least for the Kenrith's funeral card. I just want to mention that card really quick. At least that one is hey, that's a little spoiler teaser, but we're getting that. We know that story is coming. And have you seen Will and Rowan?
I haven't, but also with that card, it's that's not even a teaser. It's just like, here's what happened.
Well,
it's not like Narset was exiled for knowing the truth. It's like these people are dead.
So but why it's a teaser is because when a king and queen die, they anoint the next king or queen, which is Will or Rowan. We don't know.
Okay.
And their new cards are named Scion of War and Scion of Peace. Ooh. So there's an interesting aspect that we don't know what we're getting yet.
Sibling rivalry, maybe?
Like sibling rivalry, or if they're working together, or if like they're just kind of, like maybe they're both ruling kind of together.
Pretty sure they have like a random little sister. Maybe she's ruling.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like there's a lot like that's a good way to use an Aftermath card because we know it's coming and we're going to explore that story soon. Whereas when are we going to see Narset again? Ultimately, I have no clue, and that makes me a little sad because it's like, what I want to actually explore. Why is Narset left her clan? Why?
Well, like hold on. It's not even just when are we going to see Narset again. Last time we saw Narset, she was on Ikoria. For no reason. I mean, she was doing nothing.
And that's the way I don't like characters used. It's like I want the character to be important to the story and actually, like let's evolve these characters and get them going. I got on a little tangent because ultimately I do like the Magic story, and when it's used, it just feels like it hasn't been utilized to its full potential lately.
Let's move on. We got Sarkhan, Soul of Flame, above Daryl and below Osgir the Reconstructor. He's ranked number 88 overall. 1 blue-red for a 2/4. Dragon spells you cast cost 1 less to cast, and whenever a dragon enters the battlefield under your control, you can have Sarkhan become a copy of it, but it keeps his name, and it's still legendary. So kind of like gives your dragons haste in the form of Sarkhan just becoming them.
Blue-red dragons. This is a cool card. I mean,
yeah.
I like that. Whatever your best dragon for turn is, that gets haste. You get to attack with it. There's lots of great attack triggers in dragons. Awesome card. Fairly powerful. Dragons are a powerful tribe. I like that we have something to do early because ultimately dragons all cost 5, 6, 7 mana. So this gives us something to do early and then start jamming our dragons afterward.
Yes, and I think there's been enough story hints that we probably are going to Tarkir like maybe next year or the year after because like Sarkhan and this and all of the like, hey, we have a style set up for when we go back to Tarkir for like promo cards, and they just keep hinting at stuff, and apparently one of the Dragon Lords got completed. I don't know, but I'm excited to see what they do with it. I love Tarkir. Sarkhan's art is just great.
This is actually the pencil art is really, really good, actually. This is what I'm talking about, where it's like, I could call it pencil art because I don't know what else to call it. I'm sure there is a actual name for it, but it looks like a pencil drawing, and it looks really, really cool because it's done really, really well. And like it's cool. I like that color adds a lot to art in a lot of ways, but when you can present something without color, that is like, ooh.
Which is different from the grayscaled art that already existed, which is like a whole other thing.
Yes,
that just
taking a colored picture and grayscaling it is not cool. Taking a picture, making it, and not adding any color, that is cool. That is way different. Sarkhan's lore is amazing. This is his first creature card ever. We've never really talked about his lore, so let's just go over some of it. He's originally from Tarkir, where dragons were all dead. When he planeswalked, whatever happened, I don't remember what happened in the beginning, but he planeswalked, he saw dragons, fell in love with them because imagine how cool that would be. Like, think of dinosaurs for us. Like, if we were suddenly transported to a world where there was just dinosaurs, like, those ancient things that have been dead for years, those are just out there. It's like, that would be a very, very cool experience, and that's what he got to experience. So that's really, really cool. And then he's gone through a big arc. He's been completely like insane. Like his brain has basically been corrupted.
Working for Bolas.
And now he's doing the right thing. He's doing good things. He is the reason Tarkir is back to normal.
He changed history.
He
saved Ugin.
He saved Ugin, the spirit dragon. One of the most powerful characters in Magic. It's like he's the reason that he's still alive. It's so cool to have seen him gone from like a henchman to his own unique character. But every single one of his characters, he's always cared about dragons.
Yeah, now awesome. He's just vibing. He's living his best life. Let's go to the number one commander in the set. You probably predicted this one, but it's Ob Nixilis, Captive Kingpin. He's above Brina and below Esika. God of the Bridge, ranked 58. Nice little run, Ob Nixilis. So this is obviously the 7th card Ob Nixilis has gotten, and he's 2 black-red for a 4/3 flying trample. Whenever one or more opponents each lose exactly 1 life, put a +1/+1 counter on Ob Nixilis Captive Kingpin, exile the top card of your library. Until your next end step, you may play that card. So for any reason, we're talking like Blood Artist, pings, specifically something that just makes somebody lose 1 life, like all this stuff is just giving you a card. It's making Ob Nixilis bigger, and this is the strongest card in the set.
The combination of both being able to draw 1 million cards, this thing gets huge. This thing will get you commander damage kills. Combine all that with the fact that this is a 2-card combo with all will be 1, and all of a sudden you're just presented with, this card is absurd. Right, really, really strong.
Ob Nixilis gets 1 counter for whatever reason, And then Obi-Wan says, oh, 1 counter, 1 damage. And then Omnix is like, oh, 1 damage, 1 counter. And then you just keep going.
Yeah, so you kill everyone, you exile your whole deck. That won't matter because you're.
Well, you actually can't kill everybody, so you're gonna have to draw. You're gonna have to settle for drawing your entire deck and winning that way. You killed 2 people, right? Yeah, Omnix gets a counter for whatever reason, and then Obi-Wan says, "Oh, a counter? Deal 1 damage." And Omnix is like, "Oh, somebody lost 1 life. Well, I'm gonna get a counter," and it just goes off. You exile your entire deck, and because this isn't really card draw or anything, you can just keep going and ping everybody to death.
Yeah, it's really silly. It's really, really strong. This card is. It's a card draw engine. It doesn't ask much for you. It tells you to make your opponents lose on life. There are so many good, strong Magic cards that just do that anyway. So you're just going to draw a million cards easily, and that's when you're not just infinite comboing and winning. So I think the weakness of this is that, not the weakness, the lack of fun comes from the fact that this is a combo deck. I mean, the best versions of this deck are playing lots of tutors. They're playing lots of ways to get all Obi-Wan, so they can slam all Obi-Wan, slam this, just win the game.
Yeah, but the middling versions of this deck are still playing probably like Ashnods or Phyrexian Altar and like Blood Artist, and they're just going to spin their wheels forever. So you have to kill Omnixilus.
Yeah, Omnixilus is going to be a key part of the deck. So yeah, keep it off the battlefield. 10 for art, he's got the Capenna frame looking awesome. For lore, he has kind of annoyed, I believe he's annoyed all of the other Kingpins and all the other people on the plane. Nobody likes him now.
Nobody likes him over here either. I'm not an Omnixilus fan.
No, so nobody likes him at all now. Not even Beezy. Omnixilus is just kind of, I think, and he's just trapped now because he can't even planeswalk away. He's just kind of trapped on this plane, which
again,
it's not even his original home plane anymore.
Again,
it's just he was
once again trapped on not his original home plane without a spark.
Yeah, so yeah, and nobody likes him because I think he's one of. He released the Angels, right? He was a big part of releasing the Angels, I believe.
Ooh, that was a long time ago. Let's go with I mean, Omnixilus just. He's not a good dude. He doesn't have any friends, and he doesn't really seem to be a very effective villain either. But I hope he gets something going forward.
Yeah, I think Omnixilus is very cool. I like his old lore of like he killed everyone on his original plane, and
it was so sad about it.
He was sad that he couldn't kill anyone else.
Right. It's like, well, now I can't kill anybody.
Yeah. It's just I don't think that Omnixilus, that evil Omnixilus that we've heard about in the past.
I don't think we've ever seen him.
We've never seen him because he's just not that mean.
He like puts Gideon's face in a puddle for a few seconds.
Or rips apart a bird. It's just like, that's not. He murdered everyone he killed the population of a plane. That's bad.
And he's never won a fight that we've seen.
Yeah. No, he put Gideon's face in the puddle.
He's never won a fight that we've seen.
He won that fight.
If you want to win the fight of having something else to do with your time, I would recommend the last Ranking Every Commander we did, which is very recent because it was March of the Machine, the real set, which has a lot more legends than this. So I would recommend watching it.
Go check it out. Peace out, Tribe Scouts.